My trip to New York. Hi everyone and welcome to today's story. Today I want to share something very special with you, my unforgettable trip to New York City. Now this wasn't just any trip. It was the kind of adventure that changed the way I look at life, the way I see love, and the way I think about language. It's a journey of discovering not just a city, but also a new side of myself. So let's begin. I had always dreamed of visiting New York. For as long as I can remember, I have seen it in movies, heard about it in stories, and imagined what it would be like to walk the streets where so much of the world's culture has been created. But this trip would also be a little different. You see, I didn't just want to visit New York. I wanted to experience it. I wanted to immerse myself fully in the life of this incredible city and connect with its energy, using the one thing that I had worked hard to improve: my English. I'll never forget the moment I stepped out of the airport in New York. The air was different. It felt electric. I had just landed and my heart was already racing. There I was in the city of dreams. The first thing I had to do, of course, was figure out how to get to my hotel. I remember standing there looking at the map on my phone, wondering where to begin. But then I thought, this is the moment. This is where I get to use all the English I've learned. I made my way to the subway station. I had been practicing my English for months before this trip, and now here I was, ready to speak it with real people in real situations. I asked the station worker, "Excuse me, how do I get to Times Square?" And you know what? The worker smiled, and in perfect English she told me exactly what to do. I was nervous, but I understood every word. A few minutes later, I was standing in the middle of Times Square. It felt surreal. The bright lights, the giant screens flashing with advertisements, the energy of thousands of people walking around, it was like being in the center of the world. I couldn't believe I was finally here. I started walking around trying to take it all in. I was still thinking about my English and how much I had practiced, but I also started to think about something else, something unexpected. You see, while I was in Times Square, I met someone. Her name was Emma, and she was also visiting New York. We bumped into each other near one of the famous billboards, and after a small conversation about how amazing New York was, we started talking more and more. Emma was beautiful, not just on the outside but on the inside too. We had such an easy connection, and soon we were walking together, exploring the city. It wasn't long before we decided to visit Central Park. As we walked through the park, I could feel my English getting better. I wasn't just using it to ask for directions or order food anymore. I was having real conversations. Emma and I talked about everything: our dreams, our experiences, and of course New York. And the best part? Every time we spoke, I realized that I was getting more comfortable with my English. It was amazing to see how much my skills had improved. I could express myself without hesitation, and that gave me a sense of confidence I hadn't known before. Over the next few days, Emma and I explored more of New York. We visited the Empire State Building, took a walk across the Brooklyn Bridge, and went to museums I had only seen in pictures. Each place was more beautiful than the last, but what really stood out to me was how much I enjoyed using English. I wasn't afraid to make mistakes anymore. I was talking to people from all over the world, learning new words and expressions every day. We even went to a Broadway show together. It was a musical, and I remember sitting there in the theater, listening to the actors sing in English. I had seen musicals before, but there was something about experiencing it in New York that made it so much more powerful. And of course, we couldn't forget the romantic side of New York. One night, Emma and I had dinner at a rooftop restaurant overlooking the city. The view was breathtaking, and as we sat there talking, I couldn't help but think about how much this trip had changed me. I had come to New York looking to improve my English, but what I found was something much deeper. I found confidence. I found love. And I found a new understanding of the world. Eventually, it was time to say goodbye to New York. Emma and I parted ways at the airport, but I knew that this wasn't the end. This trip had given me so much more than just memories. It has given me the courage to keep improving my English, to keep exploring new places, and to keep believing that anything is possible when you step out of your comfort zone. So that's my story. My trip to New York wasn't just about visiting famous landmarks or trying delicious food. It was about learning, growing, and connecting with the world. It was about taking a risk, speaking a language I wasn't always confident in, and finding a way to be myself in a city full of millions of others. I hope this story inspires you. No matter where you are in your English learning journey, keep going. Keep speaking, keep practicing, and remember that every mistake is a step forward. And who knows, maybe one day you'll find yourself in New York just like I did, exploring the world and falling in love with not just a city but with yourself. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. And as always, keep dreaming, keep learning, and keep moving forward. See you in the next video.